Some games are fun for a few hours, and some stay with you for years. In today's video, we're counting down the top 10 games that stand out for their gameplay, story, and overall experience. Make sure to watch until the end because the final pick might surprise you. Let's get started.
BioShock Infinite moves the series from the underwater ruins of Rapture to Columbia, a city built in the clouds. And that change in setting immediately gives it a distinct identity from its predecessors. You play as Booker DeWitt, sent to retrieve a woman named Elizabeth, and what begins as a straightforward extraction mission gradually unfolds into something far more layered and ambitious. The game leans heavily into world building, political tension, and the kind of narrative twists the series is known for. Combat is faster and more mobile this time around. Skylines let you zip through arenas dynamically, Vigors bring back that classic BioShock feeling of creative power use, and Elizabeth's support abilities help keep fights from feeling static. Where Infinite truly stands out is in its presentation. Columbia is vivid, meticulously detailed, and full of uncomfortable contradictions beneath its bright surface. It's the most action-forward entry in the series, but the story and atmosphere more than carry their weight.
Days Gone had a rough launch, and a lot of people wrote it off early. That was a mistake. Over time, this game has earned a much more deserved reputation. You play as Deacon, a drifter and biker, trying to survive in a post-pandemic Oregon, overrun by freakers. What sets this game apart is the constant survival pressure. Your bike needs fuel, weapons degrade, and ammo is always scarce. Even a routine trip across the map can go sideways quickly if you're not paying attention. Then there are the hordes, not a handful of enemies, full, moving swarms that will overwhelm you if you're careless. Learning to handle them is a core part of the experience. The opening hours are slow, but stick with it. Days Gone turns into a gritty, atmospheric open-world game that's very easy to sink dozens of hours in.
And all men will submit.
Black Flag is the moment the Assassin's Creed series fully committed to a pirate fantasy, and it worked far better than anyone expected. You play as Edward Kenway, a pirate who becomes an assassin, and that shift in priority gives the game a completely different energy from earlier entries. The naval gameplay is the real star here. Sailing across the Caribbean, hunting ships, and listening to your crew sing sea shanties is genuinely one of the most enjoyable gameplay loops in the entire series. The land-based content, stealth, parkour, story missions, is solid as always, but it's the open ocean that carries the experience. Upgrading your ship and hunting legendary vessels gives progression real momentum. The story also matures nicely as Edward's character arc develops. Years later, Black Flag remains one of the best open-world pirate games ever made.
It's fucking easy, man. Just fucking pull the fucking trigger.
What do you want from me, man?
Shoot me, motherfucker! Come on!
Far Cry 3 is essentially the game that established the open-world template Ubisoft would rely on for the next decade, and it earned that influence. You play as Jason Brody, stranded on a pirate-controlled island that quickly escalates into a brutal fight for survival. The loop is simple but genuinely addictive. Clear outposts, hunt wildlife for upgrades, take over territory, expand your capabilities. Far Cry 3 was the game that made this formula feel satisfying. Outposts remain the highlight. Taking one down quietly, without triggering an alarm, is consistently rewarding as your skills improve. And then there's Voss. His performance gives the game a level of personality and menace that most shooters from that era simply couldn't match. It hasn't aged perfectly in every area, but the core design holds up well enough to be worth revisiting. If you want the definitive superhero game experience, Arkham City still holds that crown. Rather than confining you to a single building like its predecessor, the game opens up a walled-off section of Gotham, a lawless prison city that you're free to explore from the start. You can glide across rooftops, dive into side missions, or drive straight through the main story. The free-flow combat system is what makes this game special. Once the rhythm clicks, counters, gadgets, aerial takedowns all chaining together, every fight becomes genuinely satisfying. The pacing is equally impressive. The world is large but never padded, and the campaign keeps moving with real purpose. Even today, Arkham City remains one of the most polished, well-crafted superhero games you can play.
You're not men.
When God of War returned in 2018, the biggest surprise wasn't the combat, it was the restraint. Kratos is older, quieter, and actively trying to keep his violent past in check while raising his son Atreus. That dynamic gives the story more emotional depth than the entire original trilogy combined. still hits hard, but it's more deliberate now. The Leviathan axe feels satisfying to use, and every encounter rewards timing and positioning rather than button mashing. The world design is semi-open but tightly connected. Exploration always feels purposeful, and new areas genuinely reward curiosity. God of War is a masterclass in how to evolve a franchise without losing what made it great.
Hugo, I want her to come back.
I'll carry you. Mummy is dead, Hugo. You'll never see her again. Go away! Hugo, no! Leave me alone.
Don't take too long.
A Plague Tale: Innocence is the kind of game that pulls you in quietly and doesn't let go until the credits roll. You follow Amicia and her younger brother Hugo through a plague-ravaged version of medieval France. And from the very beginning, the game makes one thing clear. You are not powerful. You are vulnerable. The gameplay leans into stealth, light puzzle solving, and careful movement. The rat swarms function as a living environmental hazard, keeping tension consistently high. But what truly elevates the game is its atmosphere and emotional core. The world feels bleak without feeling empty, and the relationship between Amicia and Hugo gives the journey real weight. It's focused, well-paced, and emotionally honest. If you appreciate story-driven games with strong atmosphere, this one is a must.
Victor. Unless, of course, thou shouldst take the crown.
Elden Ring takes From Software's demanding Souls formula and places it into a massive open world. And remarkably, the tension and weight of the combat survive the transition completely intact. From the moment you step into the lands between, the game is transparent about one thing. You're free to go almost anywhere, but nothing will be handed to you. Rather than forcing you down a linear path, Elden Ring lets curiosity lead the way. Combat carries that familiar From Software precision. Every dodge, every strike, every mistake carries consequence, but the open structure gives you more flexibility than previous Souls titles. If something is too difficult, you can explore elsewhere, grow stronger, and return. Hidden dungeons, unexpected bosses, and constant discoveries keep the world feeling alive and unpredictable. It's demanding, no question, but once it clicks, Elden Ring is genuinely difficult to put down.
You remember me? Yeah. You remember me. I have to finish it.
I really hope you make it.
Dana, watch out!
The Last of Us Part 2 takes everything the first game built and pushes it into much darker, more personal territory. The story centers heavily on Ellie this time, and the tone is immediately more intense. Gameplay-wise, everything is tighter. Encounter design is broader, enemy AI is noticeably smarter, and the stealth system gives you more flexibility in how you approach situations. When combat breaks out, it feels raw and grounded in a way that fits the world perfectly. Technically, it still stands near the top of the medium. The animation, environmental detail, and small character moments all contribute to an almost unsettling level of realism. It's a long, emotionally demanding experience, and the story didn't land for every player, but as a cinematic, fully committed narrative game, it remains an extraordinary achievement. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 takes everything that worked in the first game and refines almost all of it. This time you're switching between Peter Parker and Miles Morales, and that rotation keeps both the gameplay and the story feeling fresh throughout. Traversal remains the biggest strength. Swinging through New York already felt excellent before, but the addition of web wings and faster movement options make getting around the city even more fluid and satisfying. It's one of the rare open worlds where fast travel almost feels unnecessary. Combat is also expanded. Both Spider-Man bring more varied abilities to fights, encounters are more aggressive, and the game does a better job of keeping you constantly mobile. It doesn't reinvent the formula, but it doesn't need to. Spider-Man 2 is a confident, polished, and thoroughly enjoyable experience from start to finish.
That was our top 10 games list. Which game was your favorite, and which one do you think deserved a spot? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more gaming content.